Chapter 1 in the Genius of Jesus is simply titled The Genius. And chapter 1 for me is an unwrapping my own personal journey as well. I imagine there are many of us who had a time in our life where we wondered, were you the one person who missed out when gifts and talents and intelligence and uniqueness and genius was passed around? And one of the things I've always been affected by was the influence of geniuses on my life. And from reading books to studying the lives of different geniuses, there was always this longing inside of me to hope that my life could make a difference, that there was something in me that would make my life significant. And I guess the dark shadow of that was I always had this overwhelming fear that there was nothing unique in me, that there was nothing special, that there was no unique talent or gifting, and certainly no genius in me that could ever be identified or developed. And that being added to a deep sense of desperation, a sense of loneliness and disconnection, a sense I didn't belong anywhere in the world and that my life would never matter. And I had this overwhelming sense that I would live and die and it would come to nothing. I think a lot of us struggle with that sense of insignificance and wonder if our lives will matter after we've taken our last breath. And in a very, very specific way, led me even to my search to understand the concept of genius. Was there genius inside of us as human beings? Was there genius inside of me? By the time I was 12 years old, I was in a psychiatric chair and I was already falling apart. I was an overachiever, emotional dysfunction. And I was a straight D student, first through 12th grade. And you cannot know how many times I was told that I would never amount to anything, that there was nothing unique or special in me. And yet I think that, like, again, so many of us, there's this little voice inside of me that kept saying, no, there's something inside of you. There's something special. There's something unique. There's something worth giving to the world. And there was a huge part of me that the only reason I got up the next day was hoping that one day I would discover that from all the material of me that seems so common and ordinary, there would be something unique and something extraordinary. And this is why, for me, the study of genius is so important. I am absolutely convinced that there is genius inside of every human being. There's genius inside of you. In fact, all the studies would validate this perception of humanity. See, I think we have an inferior, improper, misguided anthropology. We think that geniuses are the exception, and I think that they're supposed to be the rule. But you cannot become something you don't even know you already are. And you cannot develop something that you're unaware that it is within you. And so it's really important to begin at the beginning, to understand how you've been designed, to understand what is inside of you, to understand your capacity, your potential. And so even as you dive into this chapter, let it speak into your life. Let it tell you who you are. Because you're not going to be able to step into the chapters ahead if you don't change your mind about who you are. And if no one's ever told you you're a genius, at the very least, you're a genius in waiting. But the steps of unwrapping that, unlocking that, of living it, those steps are up to you.